It was the anticipation. I didn't really know what to expect, and arriving by the side of the ship was fantastic. And looking at the scale and the size, very easily getting the luggage in and then on board. And because all the guests beforehand had just left, it was pretty empty. And as I walked in through the doors, I just thought, oh my God, this really is. This is smart. It looks good. And so we had a little bit of a quick potter around, then up to the stateroom, which was crazy and really very lovely. And I just loved the fact, we were lucky, obviously, so it's a sliding door outside, and standing outside, watching the world go by, and knowing that was if you were part of this, a longer cruise. Then that everything was going to be taken care of, and I quite like the idea of that as well. We've always travelled, and we've been very lucky, but that was a novel experience. The experience of going to bed in one place in Barcelona and waking up in Marseille without there being any hassle at all. I thought I could definitely get used to this. I mean, this is essentially my mobile hotel room. I've got all my restaurants. I've got everything I need. The entertainment is all there, and I'm being transported, sort of seamlessly. Was lovely. And my wife and I, Steph and I, had a wander around Barcelona, and no matter how we've got the books out, we've got the sort of the maps and things from the hotel, and we did reasonably well. But with William, who was, and I don't know whether you saw the bit in the video. I mean, the man was Indiana Jones. He was fantastic, with a hat on, and he's off on his sort of trying to keep up with him. But there was that feeling of not being the tourist that I felt like before. I actually felt like I was, sort of part of an exploring team, and his knowledge was exceptional, and he had a brilliant way of delivery, and he was captivating, and it wasn't all stuffy. I mean, we did the Sagrada Familia, but we were also in the markets, and and he found a fantastic place for lunch. And didn't you cook lunch? Well, I partly cooked lunch. I was involved in some egg cooking. Right. Yeah. But funnily enough, I don't like eggs. So, yes, I was. That was like the perfect poached egg, and it was, in this crazy place, this beautiful restaurant, which is tiny and tucked away on the Ramblas, which I would never have found. No. So that was a big step up in exploring somewhere, in travelling around with someone who knew the city but had amazing communicative skills, and was really quite interesting to listen to. And so after I'd finished cooking the eggs, and there was other stuff going on, I thought, well, I'll just go and stand and have a look outside. And there was a hen outside looking up, and they'd followed me on the Snapchat. So how they managed to find that one specific balcony, I don't know. And they got their hair on the thing, so hen do, so. I love a gadget, and there's no bigger gadget than a ship like the Royal Princess. So they initially, when I joined the team, they said, where would you like to go? And bearing in mind that I was attracted to Princess because of the love of food and the love of wine. That's my core love, and I know that's shared by Princess. So that was the reason I wanted to get involved. But when I was asked, where would you like to go, I think they were sort of expecting a list of restaurants and what would you like to eat? And I just said, I want to go to the engine rooms, and I want to go to the bridge. And going up there was it was fabulous, and they were really very accommodating. And there was an element, I suppose, there's an element of disappointment, because I know that modern ships now are terribly impressive, and it was like being on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. but it bless you. It was the fact that it's steered by something that's that big.
It's
And I thought, where's the bloody wheel?
Yeah, there is a wheel. But it's
it was
wheel.
tiny. That doesn't count. Doesn't count as a wheel. It's like this big. Are you watching I'm a Celebrity? It's like a Dennis Wise wheel. It's for a tiny man, very small man. So there's the thing, and this is it. What, are you joking me? So I was really impressed. I'm hoping, because that was another thing that fascinated me, and it was the team on board ship that I finally saw the Ocean Medallion, because in our first ever meeting, it was mentioned that this was going to be rolled out, and what did I think? And then I was told what it could do, and the idea of ordering your drink and it knowing and everyone on board the crew knowing what I wanted and what was my favourite drink and where I was going to be, and no need for currency, and the fact that I could be found, and if I wanted to be, and you can opt in and opt out, and precisely, and he's in the bloody casino again, and so there was that aspect. And I loved the fact that they were personalised, and you could say how you wanted it to be, so it wasn't some great thing around your neck. It could be part of a watch, or such as something you slip in your pocket, and the ease of onboard, backwards and forwards, all of those things. I haven't experienced it yet, but when I was briefed on what it was going to be, I thought, well, this will just be huge, and thankfully you guys are going to be first on it, because it's one of those things you think everyone's going to want to do this. It's going to be a prime part of booking a cruise, I think, with that ease. Suddenly everything becomes much easier. Well, it was beautifully done. It's a really fantastic hour to spend, and I think it'll be very, very popular when you have the three individual grape varieties. There was Cabernet Franc, I think it was Pinot Noir, and there was Cabernet Sauvignon, and you could blend depending on whether you wanted a little softer, a bit more tannin, and so it was interesting because I hadn't done that before, and also very interesting because Steph likes her wine much softer, so we blended two very different glasses of wine, and that was but funnily enough, you learn quite a bit. Having the grapes individually and playing with them was fun, and the wines on board were terrific. I would say that right from the word go, when we were all talking, and I was sold on the fact that this is a core to the guest experience. It's really good food and really exceptional wine. And on the Royal Princess, there's the table that is essentially in the wine cellar, a big glass, so you're surrounded by bottles of wine. And that's a hell of a table to sit at. That was really, really lovely.
Crown Grill,
And the Super Tuscans, so the Italian reds, were sensational. And also the other thing, which it's always nice to know that you're not actually getting ripped off, and the prices were better than I've seen them anywhere.
Yes.
So that in itself is, and that means that if you're interested in wine, you get the chance to taste things that you perhaps wouldn't have forked out for, because they are out of your price range. But I thought that the cruising experience, one of the things that surprise you is the fact that if you are interested in wine, then those wines become much more easily accessible because the prices are so good, and they were it's a lovely cellar. I'm Phillip Schofield, and I am very pleased to be able to talk to you for the first time as a brand ambassador for Princess Cruises. This is my first time on board, so I've been amazed at, well, actually virtually everything. Amazed at this beautiful ship, the size and the elegance and the style, but also the breadth of things that you can do on board.
The production shows we have, Phillip, are awesome. And the magnitude of the shows that we put up in front of the guests, we want it to be that highest quality. We want our shows, our production shows, to be that memorable entertainment experience for the guest.
For us, it's mostly about the food and wine experience. That's what interests us. was also a real privilege to be shown around the galley by the executive chef and take part in the daily food tasting. You can't make it up, it's my dream job.
We have our standard is a high standard because with testing, you can see, I'm testing almost all the food. We have a kiwi production on board.
Very lucky to have had a couple of special treats too, meeting the captain on the bridge. Now that's been on my bucket list for years. Our first port was Barcelona. We've been there several times in the past, but this time, unexpectedly, we found new things that we'd never seen or experienced before. With the help of our expert local guide, William, who was like Indiana Jones, we really did feel like explorers rather than tourists.
Desire to literally construct a miracle. I mean, you can believe believable things any old day, but really interesting things to believe in are the unbelievable.
Yes.
And these buildings are unbelievable.
Yeah, truly unbelievable. Our Marseille experience was different again, exploring an amazing vineyard, finding out about the wines from the winemaker himself, with the obligatory tasting, obviously.
We are obliged to pick by hands. So during September, end of August now, 25 people are working in the vineyards.
This is stunning.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Followed by an exquisite Provençal lunch right up our street. And of course, when you book your shore excursion through Princess Cruises, you know that as well as getting the highest quality in the trip itself, the ship's always going to wait for you to get back. And once we got back on board, our wine adventure continued and we got to blend our own. Now, where can you do that? It's not possible to tell you everything or show you everything in this very short film. Safe to say, though, that my first cruise aboard a beautiful ship with Princess Cruises has been absolutely packed with big surprises. And now we're off for a sea walk. I mean, why wouldn't you?